Hello, my friend. Good to have you here again. Welcome back to another video. In this channel today, I want to talk about anxiety, my history with dealing with anxiety, and how reverting back to Catholicism, going back to Jesus Christ, completely erased the anxiety out of my life in a way that, to be really honest, nothing short of a miracle. I still cannot. It feels weird to tell people that I have no anxiety, especially when everyone around me seems to be so anxious and stressed all the time. And it's honestly, I have never seen that coming before in my life. Ever since I have memories, ever since I remember, I always had this crippling anxiety on my day to day life. I was always very nervous, very perfectionist. I wanted everything to be the way that I wanted. I was trying to, have everything under my control, plan everything, and that never worked, man. That never worked. And the only thing that would give me is this very strong sense of anxiety that affected my relationships, that affected my confidence, my stress levels, everything. Just is a terrible thing to have, and it's very easy to fall into that in this world that we live in today that has so much information and so much stuff going on all the damn time. So I would have physical symptoms. Like I would be so anxious that I would feel nauseous, that I would um, have like this discomfort in my stomach every time I would start thinking about the future. And that was just a thing that's what I thought life was going to be like. That's like, okay, that's just something that I do, and there's no escaping this shit, and I'm always going to be anxious. And I went to every single secular solution that you can possibly imagine when it comes to that, right? Therapy, meditation, breath work, journaling, all those things, they do help. However, they do miss a very important aspect that can only be regained through religion, and obviously can only be fully regained through the one true religion, which is Christianity. And to explain that a little bit better, I like to go back to that point, right? I have a video with my testimony if you want, guys gonna go check it out in more details. But basically, the final push that really led me to fully delve into and fully return to the church was a breakup. February 2025, I got dumped by my girlfriend of 5 years, and I completely fell into absolute despair at the bottom of the pit. To be honest, I didn't think I was gonna finish the year alive, and at the time, I had just recently started attending church again, and for some reason, I don't understand why. In January last year, I just felt this really strong feeling that I had to go back, and I start attending again and going to confession and everything else. Doing the sacraments, and just suddenly the breakup happened, and I was in the dirt. I was in the total piece of the, you know, bottom of the abyss, and the only thing that kept me alive probably was my faith. And a really weird thing happened, right? I would be reading the Bible at that time, and then I stumbled upon the famous Matthew chapter 6. The famous passage of worry not about tomorrow, because tomorrow will bring its own worries. And look at the lilies in the field, and that whole passage that I don't have memorized, but it's most likely my favorite passage. And man, when I read that thing, it was like this weight was lifted off my shoulders. Like I completely understood before the concept of responsibility transfer, right? So when you have this anxiety, this fear, it's a mental exercise where you meditate or you do whatever, and then you're just like, oh, I give it to you, God, all the fears and everything. I did that before as a secular person, but it doesn't hit the same way when you don't have the fullness of truth, right? It's like this time I wasn't saying that, and I wasn't thinking that like a secular person trying to do a little trick to get rid of my this gut feeling that I had that everything was out of my control. This time I had full and total understanding that everything that I had deemed as stable in my life. I had a relationship of 5 years. I was doing everything right. I had a job, relationship, living by myself with my ex-girlfriend at the time. I was like, man, I am set. I just have to keep doing this. I just have to keep progressing in my stuff, and I'm just set for life. I did everything right. And then boom, one day everything changes. Everything goes to shit. So fuck. Well, yeah, nothing that I had taken for granted was actually solid. And somehow being at the bottom of the bottom of the well, being, in the trenches and looking at that passage, I only thing that I could think of is like, well, he got me. It's it's like I don't have to worry about this. I just have to do today, right? I just have to worry about today, because tomorrow's worries will tomorrow will bring its own worries, right? So I just have to worry about today. And that was really freeing somehow. And the whole idea of having a God that loves you personally and that got you, it's like, oh, wow, shit. My life is crumbling right in front of my eyes, and everything that I deem dear to me is just evaporating. However, I do have a God that loves me, and He's taking care of my future, and He knows what this is for, and He knows where I'm going, and He's taking me in the direction that I wanted. Yeah, that life was not what I was supposed to be doing, right? All those things that I was supposed to be doing were not the path that He wanted me to be in, and then He took it away from me. And I was like, that's perfect. Now I look back and I was like, well, thanks be to God of all that trouble. Thanks be to God of all that pain. I don't ever want to go through that pain again, but I do think that I will, as a kind of inevitable. Shit happens, and I doubt maybe that wasn't even the worst pain that I'll ever have in my life, right? It's just suffering. But now the suffering has a point. Now the suffering won't make me panic again. I was panicking, right? I thought my life was over. I thought it was it. I thought I was done. And I was in a state of complete panic, despair. I was like a dead man walking. And honestly, I think a version of myself really died in that moment. Right? This feeling of just being teared apart physically pain of being teared apart from the inside. I just couldn't deal with it by myself, right? And at that moment, I had someone there for me. And He's always been there for me, and He'll always be here for me. And until I had that realization, and until I actually understood and accepted that, no practice, no meditation, no bullshit could actually get me to that point. At the end of the day, anxiety is all about trying to control things. You're trying to control the uncertainties of life. And because you're trying to control things that are impossible to control, for example, your feelings, you're trying to control your feelings, but they are just a thing that happens to you. There are things that are impossible to control, and you're trying to grab those things as strongly as you can. And the tighter you grab it, the more anxious you feel, because you don't have that power. None of us has that power. So when you finally let go of that need to know what's going to happen, because you know that there's an all powerful, all good, loving God that has your back, then you're like, oh man, no, there's no risks. There are no risks. There, there's not an actual thing to fear. There's no panic to be had. There's no anxiety to be had. Like, the worst case scenario is still not that bad. So that's a really freeing feeling. It's like, I love this idea. There's this anime that I really like, which is this manga that I read the whole thing. I really love is called Villain Saga. I don't know if you guys ever heard about it. Villain Saga. There's this scene on the second season of the anime where the protagonist was this warrior that killed a lot of people, did a lot of bad things, and now he is in this. He wanted to go and revenge his father from this guy, but then this guy dies, and now he is. Sorry for the spoilers, I guess. My bad, I guess, but oh well. And then he's now in this moment of despair, and he's working as a slave in a farm, and then he meets this old man, and then he's like, I don't know what to do. I am empty. I feel empty. I don't know where I go. And the guy just turns to him and is like, well, You cannot fill something that is full. The good thing about being empty is that you can fill the cup with whatever you want. And here there's a whole image of the chalice, right? The chalice that takes the wine that becomes the blood of Christ. The chalice is the image of the perfect spiritual openness to receiving the divine. It is something that it has a bottom that is fixed on reality, that has a foundation on reality. However, the top is open. Like, you cannot pour wine into a full chalice. It has to be empty. And when that thing is empty, then the gift from above, right? So it comes from above, is something that is given freely to the cup. You can fill that cup with the wine, and the wine itself, if you look symbolically, the wine itself is a representation of the passion of Christ, right? You break it, you break the grapes, you bury them under the earth like they're dead in a barrel, and then later you take them out and they become this new substance. Is the whole transubstantiation in the image of the wine itself. Then the priest pours the wine into this empty cup that has to be empty to be able to contain the wine. And then the miracle happens during the mass. So it's like, it's just this whole thing of when you were broken, when you were in the trenches, when you have this severe depression or whatever you might be going through, man. And when you know that, oh, well, God is going to use this emptiness. God is going to use this empty space, this shell of a broken man, and fill it with whatever he needs to fill it with, then the anxiety just vanishes. I just recently lost my job, right? I was living in Canada for the past 5 years. My visa just expired, and now I don't have an income. I don't have a job. I'm living by myself here, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know. I don't want to go back to my home country. I don't have really many options, but I'm not anxious at all about that. Weirdly enough, this is a situation where everyone's just looking at me and being like, "Oh my God, you must be so anxious right now. You must be so stressed." And I weirdly look at them, and it almost sounds like I'm just lying to myself and lying to them and coping and trying to put on a facade. But it's not. I just look at them. It's like, man, I have no anxiety right now. I don't have no idea what I'm gonna do. I don't know where I'm gonna end up. But I don't, it doesn't really mind me. I don't really mind it. It's not really bothering me at all. And it feels really weird coming as that kid that had a lot of anxiety to being this guy that doesn't have it at all, right? And all I can thank for that is Jesus Christ. So that was today's message, I guess. That was the rant that I want to go through today, because I'm sure it may help someone, I guess. Someone might be able to identify with what I'm saying. Um, yeah. Cheers, guys. Not perfect, but working on it. So, God bless. See you guys next time.